Can you tell us a bit about your background as an astronaut?
Sure. Well, before I became an astronaut, I went to the Air Force Academy. I'm a fighter pilot in the Air Force, U.S. Air Force, and then I got into the astronaut corps in 2000. All of us that you've been interviewing today, actually are all in the same class of 2000. So, and then as a pilot, I trained on this mission, STS-133. I basically helped out the commander, so a lot of the flying tasks, like flying. We have multiple simulators that we use for practicing not only flying the vehicle up and down from orbit, but to do rendezvous and docking. And then we have a lot of other. We have actually an airplane that simulates the space shuttle in the very last 2-3 minutes of landing, called the shuttle training aircraft. It's been a Gulfstream, a heavily modified jet that basically we actually put the landing gear down and put the thrust reversers on that are normally only used at the very end of a landing. We actually put them out in flight because to get the drag profile, because the shuttle dives at about 20-degree dive angle as we're coming through the atmosphere subsonically. To get that same kind of dive angle in a commercial airplane, we have to throw all these drag devices out to get that simulation. But it is actually probably our best simulator for landing. And then we have another simulator that we use to actually simulate if we blow tires and those. What's it like after landing? So obviously you don't want to practice that in real life. So we have a whole slew of things. Did I answer your question, or did you have something specific?
No, that's fine.
Right.
What's it like flying Discovery?
Well, it's amazing to fly Discovery, and of course it was Discovery's last flight, so it has additional meaning, especially while you're doing the flight. It seems a lot like any other flight, other than that there's a historical perspective on it, and you want to focus on the mission. But after we get done with the flight, and we typically do what's called the walk around after we land, and so you look at your vehicle and really start to appreciate what she's done. And to me, it's the people that make the ship. And so when you look at Discovery, you're not just looking at the people that originally made the ship, over 25 years ago, and then the people that have maintained it over the years, and then all the people that it's taken to train us to get up there, and you have control teams that help us, and it's just thousands and thousands of people. And so it's a huge legacy that the space shuttle has built over time. So it's a bittersweet moment at having flown the last flight of Discovery, but a great honor.
And what's it like actually flying?
Well, actually flying is amazing. What's amazing is the vehicle flies actually better than our simulators do, and the simulators fly very well. And so to get in a vehicle and actually, to feel it, and then to realize that, like, for launch, for example, when we're sitting on the launch pad, you've been out there for 3.5 hours, and then as you get closer to launch, actually on this launch, at the last minute, the range officer said we're no-go about 9 minutes to launch. And so we've been out there for 3.5 hours, and your choices are going back, getting unstrapped, all this, and that takes about an hour and a half, or taking the 8.5-minute ride to orbit. And so for us, it was like, obviously we want to go to orbit, because if not, you're going to have to do this the next day, maybe the next day after that. And so luckily the team got it arranged so that we could actually fly that day. They fixed the thing that needed to be fixed, and so we launched a couple minutes late into the window that we had, but got us to orbit with a few seconds to spare, so that it was well planned out, well operated. And the machine, when it lifts off, you see the main engines start that are burning liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen in the vehicle. You can start feeling it starting to shake, but the minute the solid rocket boosters go, you basically just get pressed into your seat, and it feels like a small elephant has come out and sat on your chest as you're climbing up to orbit, and then you're going. And then the view from the pilot and commander's window is amazing, because you can see out the windows, and we do a roll program right after we lift off, and you're at about 8 seconds. For the pilot, you can actually look up, and it was a beautiful day, beautiful sunny day when we lifted off, and you could see all the way up the northeast coast of the United States as we're climbing up into orbit. And the solid rocket boosters come off, and the ride gets a lot smoother, and then we continue to accelerate, and that small elephant shows up again as you're getting close to MECA, main engine cutoff, and you've been launching it takes you 8.5 minutes to get from liftoff to orbit. And then right as you hit this main engine cutoff, the engine shut off, like that, and all of a sudden you go from weighing with that small elephant to nothing on you, and you're just floating in space, and it's quite the experience. And then the view, we launched in sunshine, and basically as soon as we hit main engine cutoff, we went right into darkness. And we're going so fast once we're in orbit that you actually see the sunrise and sunset 16 times a day. So. Wow. It's amazing. You can't use the sun anymore as a a reference for what time it is, because it's continually, every 45 minutes the state of the sun is changing.
And at the launch, what's kind of going through your mind? Are you scared, excited, or just concentrating on?
Well, a lot of it is your patience is kind of the name of the game, because we walk out and you've probably seen where we're like waving. Well, it's 3.5 hours from the point you walk out of the building to the time you actually launch. So a lot of it, you're just sitting there, and by the time you're getting close to launch, you're a little uncomfortable because you've been sitting in your seat for 3.5 hours. And then we had the little excitement where the range control, and that now you really want to get airborne if you can. Obviously, you want to make sure the vehicle's in good shape. But the biggest thing is you go, and this is you've just climbed up this huge elevator to go up to this vehicle that's hundreds of feet off the ground, and it's amazingly, in a simulator you get in, it's just usually a small box in a building, but to get in the real vehicle, you can hear it's alive as you come up to it. You can hear all the gases that are flowing and the venting and everything else, and you can really tell the machine's ready to go. And then what you're really thinking about as an astronaut, a lot of people ask, are you scared? And the answer is no, just because for me personally, you've gone through lots of training, you've had a lot of you have the best team that you have trained. You've had a lot of practice to know. But probably the biggest thing, if you're apprehensive about anything, is that you do the job that you've been trained for and do it well. And so you don't want to be the person that's holding the rest of the team back because of something that you can't do. But they've trained you well, and all usually things go as you expect them.
And what do you think is the best bit about being in space?
Well, there's probably two things. The view is amazing. The Earth is alive, and there's just a glow that pictures can't capture, that you can really see the planet, you can see the atmosphere and the glow of the Earth, and you realize that we live in a very fragile, essentially the Earth is a spaceship that we're flying through the universe on. So it's an amazing thing to see that from a different perspective. And then the second thing, floating, is when you're doing work from moving from place to place, having the ability to fly essentially like Superman from place to place is amazing. It takes a little while to figure out how to do it. Initially you're kind of crashing into walls, and when you're trying to drink or just about everything you do up there, there's a skill that takes a while. And people try to tell you how to do it on the ground, but it's just something you have to learn how to do. It's like learning how to walk, or riding a bicycle. We can sit here and discuss all the technical aspects of how to do it, but it's just really a skill that you have to acquire, and there's a lot of learning that goes along the way, but it's fun learning. And one of the best things about floating is just having the ability, like when you're eating food, it's fun that you can, how a lot of people catch Eminems. The nice thing is in space, you can catch them, and if you miss one, you can do a bank shot and get it back and catch another, and you can have quite fun playing with it.
Could you have like a line of M&Ms and then just go along?
You could. I mean, the hard part is to get them extremely stationary, because there's always fans in the background, because the air wouldn't move. Like in this room, you get convection because hot and cold air actually moves the air, but in space there's no up and down, so heated air just sits there. So what that means is there's always got to be an airflow, or carbon dioxide would build up and other things. So putting those M&Ms and keeping them absolutely straight, there's always a little bit of motion. So you could get them there for a little bit, but they'd always start moving,
Okay.
and there's always motion going on. So, but yes, you could do that, and usually we come up with cool. Water is probably one of the coolest things. You can build like a little bubble, and then you can break off pieces of it and sling it around, and now you have a whole bunch of little bubbles, and it could be either a mess or it can be a lot of fun.